Yeah. Here, honey, have gonorrhea. Welcome, everybody. I am the master of this disaster. I am Steve Madsen, and this is The Road Traveled, a Season 1 wrap-up on Voyd Studio Productions and the Sonic Seedpod. We got Jay here. How you doing, man?
Good. How's it going?
Good. All right, so we're here to talk about the origin right now of the Sonic Seedpod. And for those of you that don't know, back in 2017, I sat at my house, and this band that I enjoy called Taproot did a 20th anniversary show. And they did it out of Michigan. But I'm not in Michigan, and I didn't have the capacity to travel to Michigan. But luckily for me, they streamed it over the web, and I was able to watch it with headphones on, and the convenience of doing that at home made me really think about the future of live music. So now fast forward to the pandemic, all of a sudden everybody started doing stuff like that. Fast forward even further, and we connect with Jay, who, if I never told the story, he actually started me on my musical journey by selling me my very first guitar 31 years ago. Jesus.
I remember that.
And connect with him, and he started talking about wanting to start up a studio, making things for the web and stuff like that. I thought about bringing my show to Voyd Studio. So why don't you tell us where you got the idea for Voyd?
Okay, I really don't remember what it was. I just remember when I had the inspiration, I couldn't control myself, and I called Chuck.
Yep.
And
yep.
I'm happy he picked up. And I said, hey, man, do you have a quick minute to talk? And little did we realize it was going to be a 2-hour phone call.
Right.
I think, I wouldn't let him go because I was so excited about the idea of putting together a video studio and producing these shows.
Right.
So that's when we came up with ideas, but he had mentioned that you and him were talking about this idea for this live-oriented show.
Sure.
And I got really excited, and that's when it kind of started, we just piled onto it.
Right.
And then next thing you know, we kind of got together, got our heads together, and we're like, okay, let's do this.
Right.
Then we had to figure out how to do it.
Exactly. And for those that don't know, a little backstory, Chuck and I go way back to middle school. He is my oldest friend, and when you said that he was on board, I was like, let's go, let's do this. Because I know with Chuck on board, kind of overseeing it, that things are going to turn out pretty well. He has a really good eye for this digital aspect.
Well, what we realized at that moment, I think, is we had everything. Well, we had the competence in all the areas that we would need to put this thing together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it really, we're very lucky to have the people that we have involved in this.
And then connecting through you got us to the West Bend Music Academy, which provided us the venue, which gave us a basement and basically what we turned into a studio.
Right.
And we're able to produce this. And then also connecting with other people such as Joe Passineau, Mr. Thumbs, who has been our reliable slate man and all-around good guy that we just love. And then Joe Polizzi, who has had an amazing effect on the lighting and kind of giving us really to the visual aspect of how we present these things. And he's always been good for a little bit of troubleshooting when we have some sound issues.
Oh yeah.
It's cool to see you two walk around and diagnose little feedback issues and whatnot and stuff like that. Coming in with DJ Broh too from Milwaukee Entertainment News, he brought a really cool aspect. He's been manning some cameras. We got to run around with him a little bit, and it's been a pretty cool season. I've been really excited about where we're going and how far this has come from just a brainchild to now we have a tangible product. How about that?
It's quite a difference. It is. It's an evolution. When we stop and think about it, when we started it, this was just last year.
Yeah, just March.
No, it was March of this year.
March of this year.
And you look at all of the steps that we took.
Right.
It was kind of touch and go.
Right.
Like we weren't really sure.
I remember when we booked the first Seedpod and we had Citrine coming in, like you told me that they were coming in. I'm like, okay, here we go. So all of a sudden I just started like writing stuff up and like, how is this going to go? And that's like when all these little segment ideas kind of popped in the head and it became what it became.
And it's kind of like it has its own uniqueness. It has a signature that is kind of developing.
Right. It's definitely familiar of other things like Tiny Desk and an Audio Tree, but then it also sets itself apart from, there's a little bit of like humanness, and you get to introduce the artist, and find out what they're all about as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right on.
Well, and let's talk about the audio, man. I mean, that was a big challenge.
Yeah, that is a big challenge. And it's a lot of fun to be able to take some of these bands that either I'm not familiar with or I'm already a fan of and dissect this audio and listen to it, pull the vocals out, and here's what is actually going on behind it, and then making sure that that's proper. and then bringing in the vocals and all of a sudden introducing a story into this music. And
right.
It's very interesting to take these bands and dissect them into their little pieces and then bring it all back in together.
And doing it live. I mean,
right.
Even though we're post-producing it, we're recording this. The band is performing it live.
Right, they're all live performances.
And we just had a conversation about this not long ago, talking about how some of these big major labels have these big studios that are getting millions of views, and they're lip-syncing.
Lip-syncing, yeah. We're giving a live performance.
That is a hallmark. We have to give ourselves credit.
And I like that, because then you're getting a band, and you're seeing what a band has to offer, not what the studio representation. This is them live.
Well, for the artists, it's an authenticity that they get to deliver. They don't feel like they're deceiving. You know what I mean? And I think that's important to them.
Absolutely, I agree, and I really look forward to presenting this genuine article and giving these artists a venue to promote their craft, for sure.
Right on.
All right, let's keep it going, yeah?
Yeah, who else can do the slate?
I brought my intern with me. How's my hair look? Do I look like I have a head crab from Half-Life on me?
Does my butt look big in this? No, you're good.
Okay. All right. And it doesn't look like a head crab from Half-Life.
It is if I spin it like this.
I'm not.
Do it
Give
loud.
a clack.
Perfect.
All right, with us now we got DJ Broh. Man, it has been a year, has it not? Let's talk about what we did this year, man. We did the Summerfest. Went run around Summerfest looking for Trash Panda's snack.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
The whole thing was awesome. Because, as musicians, we're used to being around on like a backstage, but then there's always some of those places that we like aspire to one day be.
Sure.
And that was kind of like a good view of the behind the scenes, with Jay having the stage over there and, being able to call us in on the buses and everything.
Yeah, being a guest of WAMI was awesome.
Yes, that was a really good experience to where it was like a kid in a candy store, like, hey.
Right. We didn't have to fight the crowds. We had an air-conditioned bus that just kind of got us all the way through there. It was pretty sweet. And then we did that Metal Fest shoot over with Jack Koshick at Rushmore Records. That was pretty cool. I remember Dan from Rushmore was telling us a story. He was at the infamous Gigi Allen show, and a friend of his
got shot on.
Fecal freckles. And we're just going to let you and your imagination play with that one. But Jack had some awesome stories talking about how he did Metal Fest and the ups and downs of that whole thing, and then got in with WWE and started running around with that thing. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was a lot of surprising stuff that like you didn't think. Like a lot of the younger people, the 25 and younger crowd, they think the Milwaukee Metal Fest has always been in Milwaukee,
right,
or was like always run by these certain people, and it's like no, it did start here,
an origin, right.
And it did go across the country, and it did grow into crazy. But that was a lot of cool things.
That's pretty cool to talk to a historical guy like that. And then, of course, in the summer, then we had to kind of hightail it out of here because, for those of you who don't know, we do shoot out of the West Bend Music Academy, and they have a whole lesson plan, an extensive lesson program here. And in the summer, they actually do a whole rock band program. Some of the kids form a rock band or even a couple of rock bands, and they actually use where we shoot out of as kind of their rehearsal space and getting ready to do that. So far be it from us to ever hinder the future musicians of tomorrow. So we decided we'd take our series and find a new place to go. And that led us to the 6th Avenue Bar and Grill, who was reformatting. They were a barbecue joint, and then they decided to go burgers. So we said, hey, you're doing something, we're doing something. Let's all get together. And that's where I think some of the best shots came out of doing the summer series over at 6th Ave. Hopefully we get to go back next year. That'd be pretty cool. We'll have to talk to Jeremy and Alyssa over at 6th Ave, and I think we got a lot of stuff in the works too. But,
what did you think about the 6th Ave? Like, there was the stuff recently with Jeremy bringing in the paranormal investigators to try and see.
Well, I mean, that's such a historical building. There's a lot of really cool stuff that can be exploited out of there. I remember back when I was a kid, they actually ran a haunted house out of that whole area. So I mean, that building itself just has tons of history. So I love that they keep drawing more and more attention to it and getting it out of there. It's just really cool that we did a lot this year. From just having in the brain and just thoughts and ideas to actually turning it into something we have a catalog that we can put together. So
yeah, it was awesome when I got the email from Jay about, he's like, hey, I'm putting together this podcast and I've been watching Milwaukee Entertainment News, and it's been like, hey, I want you guys to be a part of this. And it was really exciting to get that email, and it's been fun being here and everything. I'm having a great time. You guys seem like having a great time.
Yeah,
Everybody's
dude, it's
having a
blessed
great
to
time.
have you on board, man. It's great. And we'll see you in the next one.
All right, let's do another one. It's fun now.
Check 1, 2. You guys want more facts about koalas?
Yes.
And we'll let everybody's imagination play with that term.
You can say that case was
Shut down.
We got more koala facts out of Joe. Important koala facts. No, With us now is Justin of 1019 and KLA himself, the former guest of the Sonic Seedpod. Tell us about your experience. Justin, you were the first Sonic Seedpod summer concert series over at 6th Ave. Tell us about that.
Well, I thought it was a great experience. It really was only the second time I really performed in front of, anyone or camera, just a performance in general.
For sure.
Doing solo. So it was a little nerve-wracking for me, but everyone on the team is awesome, and I still connect with a few of them still, and we're still still
working
good
on that
acquaintances.
record.
Yeah, these guys are a bunch of cool people, and
right
I had a really good experience, and it was the performance went smoothly all because of the team, and it was just.
I think it was super cool that we were able to give bands like 1019 and Citrine kind of their first outing as what it's like to perform live and get out there. And KLA, tell us about that. The hip hop artist, the only hip hop artist so far.
Before I get into that, I just want to say his performance was one of my favorites out of Voyd Studios.
Yeah, right.
It was not what I was expecting, and what came out of you was crazy, dude.
How about that? Camaraderie.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, what
My
people may not
experience-
know is you've been here pretty much for every episode, more or less. There's a couple that you missed.
I'm trying to be a team member. If
And
you
he's
guys
there.
will sign me on, if you'll have me, I'd be glad to. My experience was amazing here. I got my DJ out here.
Yep, that was
which
pretty killer.
Is kind of tricky to get him out for certain things, but he was more than willing to do it. We had a great experience the whole time, man. Like he said, everybody on the team is really cool.
Right.
Very easy to work with. We had a good performance. I actually didn't realize that I had COVID that day.
Yeah, and you gave it to
I found
me.
out the next day. Yeah, my fault for that. I didn't mean to do that intentionally,
happen.
but I found out the next day after that performance.
That's
dude.
right.
But either way, it was a great time, dude.
And then we had the moving floor.
Yeah.
That was cool. Every time you got excited, the carpet would move just a little bit.
The carpet shook on me a little bit.
Yeah. What about other episodes? Now, I have to say one of my favorites was the Grim Waters episode. There was something about that one that was at the 6th Ave that there was a vibe there. There was just energy to their performance.
Yep. And it felt like sound was swelling into you. Like you felt it.
Yeah,
it was
just the energy that they brought, the stop starts, when they went from pretty to clean to distortion and all that.
Yeah,
the singing vocals to the yelling and the screaming, the classically trained vocalists.
And the transitions were very abrupt but clear.
Right,
at the
that
same
was awesome,
time.
absolutely. And Kashina brought a vibe. I love when
Kashina
Kashina
was awesome.
Yeah. That was a great summer kind of thing to sink
little
in there.
reggae vibe. That's awesome.
Kashina wanted to be here, but she couldn't be. We had her scheduled, but something came up and she wasn't able to make it. So we send our love out to Kashina.
Kashina.
Yeah.
It's been real. We'll catch you next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You did great.
I really enjoyed Sick Kitty Sit, only because from the first, observation, you see just a drummer and a piano, and I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna, work. But actually, they had a lot of sound behind them, a lot of power, a lot of emotion. I really enjoyed that.
The dichotomy of them working together.
That was
crazy.
actually a goal band when we started this thing up. I had actually had a couple of bands that I wanted to achieve our in what we were doing and doing it right before I asked these bands. And Sick Kitty Sit was actually the first one. I was like, I want to get a couple episodes in, and then asked them to be on the show, and I was so happy that they were grateful.
And
to
perfect
do it.
time of the month.
Yeah,
Perfect
the
month
whole
for them.
Halloween thing. Because
the fog in there,
loves
it
that.
was such a
Surefire
nice
was
touch.
another goal band of mine. I wanted to make sure that we knew what we were doing before we asked them to.
Surefire is intense, dude.
That was crazy.
They're intense,
and that was an interesting. That was our first experience with going in all direct. No amps, amps in the room. Just everything in the headphones. We had a little monitor next to me, But once they started playing, because the drums were the only thing going on.
You're just hearing drums and
all we
dude
heard
screaming.
was drums and the dude was going wild.
But once you watch that episode, wow.
Yeah, putting the headphones on to mix that was quite an experience too.
Yeah.
So, well, awesome, guys. I'm glad you guys came out for doing the performances. And, when you guys start releasing some other stuff, maybe we'll have you back and we'll bring you on again.
I'd love to be back.
For sure.
Right on. Absolutely, guys.
I'm excited to see what's in store for 2025.
Oh, we got it coming. We got it coming for sure.
Let's do it. I'm on board.
Right on.
Peace.
I think it's time that the Sonic Seed Pod tackles some real world
2.
issues. We need to get rid of koalas.
We at Voyd Studios hate Gene Simmons. And I'm like, all right, so one of the segments in the Sonic Seed Pod, and what I think is one of the most beloved, is the Questions of Doom.
Doom. That's my favorite.
Well, it came about. I was watching a show on the Bravo network where at the end of it, they kind of had this segment of rapid fire questions. So I decided for a little sticky point to kind of set us apart from, other similar type shows. Thought we'd throw in some kind of rapid fire thing, and it's turned into quite the thing. So, can you list off some of your favorites?
All of my answers. No, I know we had talked about this in the past, but the most popular thing technically that Voyd Productions ever did was my beloved bass player of my band, Sam Bolter, with his answer to what his most useless talent was, and. His answer came about because he wasn't really sure what he was going to say before it, and he had asked my advice because he knew that since we all got the questions beforehand, I was studying and I was trying to workshop what I thought would be the funniest answers.
Right.
And he asks me what his most useless talent should be, and I mean not to take all the credit, but I tell him straight faced, really quick, snappy. Bass.
Yep.
Trust me.
That one got me because being a bass player,
all right.
I can see it being a useless talent, but it kind of hurts to admit it.
Root fifth, am I right?
Yes, absolutely. And last I checked, that's well over 500,000 views. So that was cool. Your answer, the African bullfrog for the rudest animal, that struck me.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, that struck me as just kind of. That I didn't come to mind when I thought about rude
Stephen,
animals.
look at them.
I mean, you're right. I agree.
They to me, if I were to attribute a voice to this pest, it'd be like this very posh, older British man.
The monocle.
He has the monocle and the handlebar, and he has his tea, and he just doesn't get it.
Just doesn't get it. And he's very inconsiderate.
Yeah, man.
Just hopping around lily pad after lily pad, not caring what's underneath. I get that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what else? I liked Grim Waters. Have to say that Will stole my useless talent because for years and years and years, I was able to recognize car headlights just from the front. I could tell you what kind of car it was. I could even get down to the model. And then seeing police cars, because they always had the mesh in the lights, was very easy to tell. So you knew when you had to be on your best behavior, which I was always on my best behavior.
I'd never heard of that as a skill until he mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I am just dumbfounded to know that there's more than one person that can do that. That's insane to me.
I mean, it's just, that's what I attached to. And then
Miss Keisha Armand just... I don't know if it's perfect pitch or if she just has so much muscle memory as a musician.
Yeah.
She can fan being in B was crazy.
Right. Just pick out the tones and name it. Yeah. I've heard of that being done, but I'd never actually seen it in performance.
It's almost like a party trick.
Right.
So it's hey, the way you poured your glass, that's an F sharp.
That exactly. Yeah. So many great questions to do. And so from what I know, we are going to revamp them and keep it nice and fresh for season 2.
You will, Stephen.
Be on the lookout for that.
I have one quick question.
Yep.
The 6 are the questions to do.
Yeah.
No explanation.
No.
I just say it. Can I explain it a little bit?
Yeah,
I got some weird answers.
Yeah, you can be a little bit. Or if you just want to stay weird.
Yeah, that's my goal.
All right, and now be loved far and wide and brought straight to you. It's time for the Seedpod 6 questions.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Are you ready?
No.
No? How about now?
Yep.
All right. What is your most useless talent?
I can go like that.
Oh!
Or that.
That's awful. I didn't know that.
I know 2 magic tricks.
Headless Horseman.
I know a ludicrous amount of frog facts.
I can recognize an unreasonable amount of cars by their headlights at night.
I barely have any, useful talents.
My thumb bones make the sound of a turn signal.
Making up songs about everything all the time.
540 no scope Claymore cancel off the side of high rise in Modern Warfare 2.
I can do kick moves pretty fierce, dude.
Bass. If you put me in a restaurant, I can just stack random stuff at the table and make it balance.
There's a fan blowing in the key of B right now.
Oh.
I can throw the horns with my toes.
We need to film that.
Yes.
Thank you for being a friend.
Now you guys go ahead and be free. We'll edit this in post. Your favorite curse word.
Heck.
I am partial to the word asshole.
I don't like to call them curse words. I call them sentence enhancers.
Any Midwesternism, ope, aw geez, yeah, no, or no, yeah.
Yeah, top me.
People love fuck.
Yeah, I say fuck a lot.
God damn it. God damn it.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Ass hat.
I'm gonna go with those whoa.
What breakfast cereal would you be?
I like irony, so I would do cinnamon life.
Grape nuts.
Not really grape, not really nuts.
I've got all the charms.
There it is.
Sorry.
OG Captain Crunch, because I also like having the roof of my mouth
torn to pieces.
Yep.
Exactly.
I just want to feel.
Honey Nut Cheerios, because I'm sweet, I'm kind of nuts, and I got holes in me.
What ice cream flavor would you be?
Ranch.
Fuck it.
All right.
All a scam.
If animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
The African bullfrog, Steve.
I say turtles, because
Yeah.
they're super judgy.
I'd say ducks. Ducks are evil.
They say that hippos are, they cause more deaths than any other animal, and they're vegetarians, so they're doing it because they want to.
Geese, hands down.
Oh yeah.
Stay off my
Okay.
lawn.
I honestly think a giraffe is a bitch.
It's a geese, and you can't tell me it's any other animal. Fuck geese.
Those lovely African ants that bit the shit out of me last summer.
You can tell whose moms are going to watch this video.
Oh, I see.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Which superpower would you most like to have?
If I could have a superpower, it would be everyone likes Diet Coke. That's my favorite, so.
I said common sense before,
Yeah.
and I really mean that.
To be super inconvenient.
So you know those aliens that go like this when they pee out their finger? I'd probably do that.
I would like to be able to eat or drink anything without any negative consequences.
Knowing the perfect amount of time to put leftovers in the microwave.
Half of us got time and half of us have
Half of this time, teleportation.
It's going to make practicing and getting ready for tours a lot easier.
Let's pull it back.
You can dance if you want to.
That's beautiful.
You can leave
That
your
is-
friends behind.
Yeah.
Think squirrels suck.
Nice pants.
See,
I just like grape snow cones.
I told him I don't like root beer.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
That is a useless talent if I ever saw one.
Everyone and their mother on Facebook commented that I'm wrong.
I don't know if we'll ever
Born
be
ready.
ready for these.
If you elaborate, you break the rules.
I know, you're kicked out.
Scrap.
I think I will scrap it. We don't like it.
Jesus Christ.
The kids love it.
All right, we are here now with Joe, Mr. Thumbs Passineau, and Jay, and we're actually going to take some viewer questions. We're going to let Joe kind of ask the viewer questions. Joe?
Steven, Jason, Jacob, Jagger, formerly of Citrine, the Sonic Seedpod episode, asks, what are your guys' favorite moments behind the scenes?
Jay, what about you? You're usually behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What is your...
Ooh. What's my favorite?
Yeah.
I think there are so many of them. I'm trying to think of which one would be the number one. I think, I'm going to have to say it was the banter that went on before each of the performances when we're doing the setup,
Right.
It's just so much fun stuff.
That is a blast.
Yeah,
Those are kind of funny.
It was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff. And I would love to be able to show some of that. I know we captured, some of it, but I think it'd be great if we had people just showing up to see some of that.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
I have to say, when I do the audio for the shows, my favorite behind the scenes moment was editing Sundial from Grim Waters, because there was a point where they're building up, and then Nate the singer just lets out this big epic chorus part, and being able to adjust that just right so the energy came across, but it wasn't blowing out the speakers. Right. There was a moment when I had it kind of locked in that I was like, that's it right there. So that's what I remember.
It's like the feeling when you're there in the room and trying to translate that to the viewer experience.
And when I had it locked in, I just kind of felt like it was synced in there, and it was pretty cool.
That's sick. Another question from Jacob. This is just to you, Steven.
Uh-oh.
What are your answers to the questions of doom?
Well, so I would answer a couple, but there are a few that I'm going to reserve because I would like to see American Progress actually get on the show, which is my band. Thank you very much. Debut record, Do We Know, available everywhere now.
Buy it.
But I want to wait till it's a little more appropriate for the host to be on his own show. So we're going to wait on that. But
no leaks?
I think...
No leaks, Steven?
No, not... Well, I think maybe a little bit later we might cover some of those because I think we're going to go into a whole Question to Doom segment because that was one that definitely stood out as a nice behind-the-scenes moment kind of coming out with that. And
hey, I'll be willing to answer some questions for the seed because, I don't get to answer them.
Jason, please do.
All right.
So, yeah, what is your most useless talent?
My most now I have to actually answer the
See that?
I know you do an enormous amount of things without shoes on.
You know what? Actually, that is probably one of my most useless talents is being able to endure the freezing cold tundra without.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
I honestly
don't know either.
Yeah.
I swore off of shoes in 2000, and I've never I never went back. After I tried it, and I'm like, I think I like this.
So all the way up until 2000, it was shoes, and then you just
cold turkey,
just done.
Cold turkey, just like swore off. Went and got some. I started with flip flops, and I had to graduate. Now I go with more sophisticated.
Okay, so you weaned yourself off of the shoes. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's
You're rocking your cold turkeys down there.
That's right.
Jay, what animal do you think would be the rudest if they could talk?
Oh man, I think, gosh, I know people already said some of these, but I guess hyenas seem like they'd be pretty rude. They seem real cocky.
I don't think anyone said hyenas yet.
No, I don't think so either.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
the way that, and they're always laughing at you.
Yeah, that's what really I don't like that.
That's what set me off.
Yeah, it would set me
I'd be like,
off.
what are you laughing at?
Yeah. So that's my answer, hyenas.
Right.
I think they'd be pretty.
What would your theme song be, Jay?
Oh boy,
I want to know.
Oh, man.
This one, I got to know. What would Jay's theme song be?
Oh boy,
with your
Jeez Louise.
Alexandrian library of music in your cranium.
Oh gosh, okay, I'm gonna have to really. Let's go with. God, there's so many of them, but I'm just gonna go with Back in Black. I just feel like I would, if I was gonna say, I want to rule the world. I'm gonna walk in the room and I just want that to be playing.
That'd be your.
Yeah,
I could see that. I could see that for sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Right.
Yeah, you want to hear the E minor every time.
It was either that or a Michael Jackson song, but I just might not have had the same impact that I think you were looking for.
I think Back in Black is.
It's a little more metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's impactful.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Back in Black.
Instead of Billie Jean. I don't know.
We at the Sonic Seedpod love open chords.
Right.
This one's for both of you. What dream artists or dream bands you want to have on? Now, you talked about how you wanted Surefire. You wanted Sit Kitty Sit.
So another goal band is Braid, for sure. I saw them last December, so that was a year ago, and they still bring as much energy as they did 20 years ago. And if they were still doing it, I would love to have Braid in the studio, for sure.
Super cool.
Of course, I have lofty goals. I'd love to have Metallica in here or something, something crazy like that. But, you know.
I want to know Lars's most useless talent.
I do too. Because he's
probably
got a lot of them.
He's probably got I didn't want to say it, but he might have a few of them.
We at the Sonic Seedpod have nothing rude to say about Lars.
No, I love Lars.
No,
that man is brilliant.
Yeah, so
I know one of your dream bands, American Progress, of course, as mentioned.
Well, I would love to play it. I don't know how many people want to see it, but hopefully all of them do.
Yeah. Hey,
I would say the band that I would want is actually a band that has already broken up, a local band that has broken up that was one of my favorites. There's so many of them I couldn't even give a list, but there's a lot of them. So maybe someday we could inspire some artists that are retired from their band or broken up to piece it back together just to come on the show. So anyway, that's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
That's poetic.
If I recall, that might be a viewer question: is what bands that are no longer?
Right? the one that's the Arial font beneath the one I just read.
Yeah.
Is there a band that's not around anymore that you wish you could have on the show?
All right,
I've got a few of those.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so there was good friends of mine. I'm still close with all three of them. A band called Last that grew up with, and they had such great music. They never actually quite found a singer that matched their vibe. But just the music was always an enjoyable part. And then Murder in the Red Barn, which I know the guys still run around Milwaukee and still kind of talk to each other and whatnot. But that's a band that I got into after they broke up. I think they would be amazing on the Seedpod for sure.
Nice.
I would have to go with Nate, which was originally Human Nature. They're a great band. Another one would be Headwork. band that I got
right.
to join as well. Another one of my favorite bands. And then Jacob Stone, which then reformed as Northern Room.
Okay.
Had some killer songs. Hopefully people are Googling this.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
That's the hope,
It's
for
good
sure.
stuff, right? I
Yeah.
encourage you to check it out.
Yeah, to any Seedpod viewers using this as a second monitor show, put the first one to some good use.
Right on. So you never know. Maybe some of these bands are hearing me and saying, hey, maybe we should call Jay up and get on there.
Get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
Gentlemen, what is the biggest challenge you've had when producing the Chronic Seedpod?
Getting people to say the name right.
What? We here at the Tonic Treetop value precision and accuracy.
There was a couple of challenges when booking some of the groups because a few of them had a little trial and error and whatnot. And I know we'll get into that in a different segment of this. But I know I think I can speak for some of the production crew. Lighting, that was getting it to light up just right and bringing it, an energy to the performance that we all want to see.
Yeah, I'll have to add to that. It was probably from a production standpoint. We had this idea, and everything sounds good on paper,
right?
Until we're like, okay, let's try this, and we're like, oh my god, this is bigger. Did we bite off more than we could chew?
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
And in talking about when you put this stuff together, this is a bunch of sciences brought together. It's like video production. It's live sound,
right?
It's also recording production,
right?
Thrown all together. So we didn't realize that this is going to be harder than we thought.
Yeah, when I had thought about this show back in 2017, I didn't really take into account that it was an actual production that needs a crew, and I'm really glad that I didn't have my original idea of having it live, and having a camera operator switch back, that.
Oh, you mean live stream?
Right. And then having
yeah.
multiple cameras and someone back there with buttons, and no.
That could still happen.
Maybe.
I, as a former performer, am also very glad that I didn't have to do that live.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. One more question for you, gentlemen. From Chris at Skeggy the Yeti. Skeggy the Yeti?
Yep.
And then maybe cut that out if I said it wrong. What hobbies do you use to stave off the existential dread?
I've thought about this one, and I basically am planning when the existential dread hits, I jam nails into my eyes and put headphones on at full blast and ignore the outside world until it just all goes away.
Yeah. There is no existential dread. I'm a brainwashed optimist, so...
We at the Sonic Seedpod recommend you just get over it. And with that, gentlemen.
Thank you, Joe, for hosting the viewer question segment.
Steven, thank you.
When we get a cease and desist from Gene Simmons, we need to frame it, put it right back there. We're pretty sure the ghost of your victim
is moved and migrated into our computer system.
Yeah,
everyone should be like me.
So that's
it's the haunting.
Yeah. All right. So back with Jay, and as you know, with any live production or any production, things go wrong. So we're here to talk about the things, the missteps, everything. I know we had a Halloween curse, so we booked Rat Bat Spider for our Halloween show, and about 2 weeks after we booked them, they put out a message saying that they were breaking up. So that threw a monkey wrench in the plans. So then we got Trash Pandas, our good friend Trash Pandas, and they were all excited to do it because we're good friends and all that, and it was going to be the Halloween episode. And then they had a lineup change, and they weren't going to be ready in time to do the Halloween episode. So reached out again, did a little scrambling, and found Sit Kitty Sit. And we got a little nervous because if the Halloween curse held up, there was more than just a band that was breaking up. We were a little nervous about how that was going to go, but everything turned out. So we think we broke the curse with Sit Kitty Sit. Thank you very much, Kat and Mike, for persevering.
Right.
Hope things are well.
They were great.
They were awesome. Absolutely. So now let's talk about what else we got going on. Surefire, we had an issue.
Yeah. Oh, man. That was probably, I don't know. I had so many panic attacks during the productions that no one got to see. And if you did see it, apparently you guys are saying, well, you handled it really well.
Yeah, you barely saw the sweat beating up.
Right.
It was there, but,
right.
you had to look for it.
So I came in that morning for Surefire, right? And I went to the board, And the Mac, the computer that we used to record the audio, was like, it tilted, it fell over onto the board.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. So I just like picked it back up and set it up, and I went to turn on the Mac, and it just refused to turn on. So you guys were all, I could hear everyone, setting up in the live room here.
Yep. And things were going swimmingly, and we're all completely
you guys were all
unaware.
like, everything's on, and I'm panicking, like, turn on, come on, turn on. It would not turn on. And I think I sat there for 20 minutes, and I overheard you guys saying, "Where's Jay? He should be here by now."
Yeah, we were expecting you to start setting up mics.
Yeah. I kind of thought to myself, I just want to crawl in a hole. Oh no, because I didn't know how to break it to everyone that the computer audio broke, no work.
Right. Jay's our live sound engineer. He mics up the drums, amps,
right,
all that kind of stuff. So we were kind of expecting him to start doing his thing, and nowhere to be found. And then he levels us with the news that we're mostly dead in the water.
Right. Yep.
A big shout out to Joe Passineau.
Well, that was the thing for that event, for that episode. We had no less than 4 audio engineers in the room.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Yep. So
something was gonna get
something
fixed.
was gonna happen. I knew it, because I really started to panic, and I was freaking out. And then all of a sudden you guys heard me say, "What am I freaking out for? We have 4 audio engineers sitting in this room right now. This is gonna happen." So I literally said, "Who has an A to D converter that we can use?"
And I think 3 hands shot up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was one right in front of us.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I think I made it a point at that I'm only going to start panicking when copper wire starts getting exposed and we start having to splice things together.
Exactly, yeah.
That's when I'll start panicking.
Oh, and maybe not even then. I don't know.
Maybe not even then, because we've had
some pretty
we've had great results.
Meltdowns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we succeeded.
Well, and then let us maybe linked into this. Oh, and truth be told, the night before we do a little setup, and I went to go check on to everything, and I saw the Mac on its face, and I thought maybe you did that intentionally.
Right. Jay knows what he's doing. That's got to be there for a reason.
Right. It may fall, so Jay just took that out of the equation, and it was already down there. Had no place left to go.
Which is what I should have done, actually.
Right. And then we also may have infested the computer with a ghost because.
Okay, so now I want to explain myself.
We want to make. No humans were harmed, so I don't think there's any felonious acts that were.
Okay, so here's what happened. All right, this is after we got the new A to D converter. This is a really long day. It stretched out super long because of all these problems, right?
Right.
So now I'm panicking because I just took all this extra time setting up this whole new rig, making it all work. It was a big rat's nest, and now I got to still mic up the drums, mic up all the instruments.
Right.
Well, I should say they went direct, but still, just getting things ready
to do.
Live.
Yeah.
So I'm racing now because everyone's tapping their foot like, "Come on, let's get going." And I'm sitting there setting up the drums, and I'm frazzled, man. I'm still coming off this panic attack because I still don't know if this rig's gonna work.
Right. We haven't pressed record yet.
I'm kind of freaking out. I'm nervous, and all of a sudden there's this thing out of the corner of my eye. This little thing, it's like a bug.
Yeah.
And so I instinctively just looked at it and I pet it.
He pet it.
I just went like that, a little pet, just a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aggressive love.
And I think it was, I don't know which person in the band says, "Uh-oh. I think you're in trouble." And I'm like, "Oh no, whose bug was that?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "I think it was Chuck's or something like that."
We had all grown attachment to Mr. Samsa. We felt that maybe he was a patron of the Seedpod.
Right.
He had emerged because we had finally achieved the level of asking Surefire and having this, renowned band of Surefire grace us with their presence, that he had to make it known that he was proud of us. And then
he just didn't move anymore. But I mean, he kind of moved. Remember, there was a little twitch.
There was a little twitch.
There was some twitching. Yeah.
The death rattle, if you will.
So, yeah, I mean, really, hopefully he might actually resurrect.
Well, I mean, we did have a lovely, interesting thing with the computer most recently, so maybe he's still present.
It could be a haunting, and that might explain why we've had all these little incidental errors.
I think we need to cut.
So they have to subsist off of the excrement of their parents.
You know what? I was just thinking, we have no DJ Broh.
Yeah, where's Broh at?
Oh, wait a minute. I hear somebody. There's a noise. Do we got a Broh? It's gotta be Broh. Broh! All right, it has been a hell of a year. It's been a hell of an episode. What do we got coming up in 2025? Well, we got Trash Pandas. That's the next Seedpod episode, already filmed and in the books, and I can't wait for y'all to see that.
Love raccoons.
Yep, we're going to do some more gear go-through. Thanks to Jacob for the name of that one. More gear go-through, get into more tech specs and kind of stuff like that. What do you got going on?
Well, I was just informed that Milwaukee Entertainment News may be back over at the WAMI Awards doing more interviews.
Right on. Very cool.
I'm not sure if it'll be before or after, probably before, again, when they first come in.
Yep.
But I love doing it. It was a great experience last year. It was like it was going to be in one spot, and then things ended up working out to bring me to another one. And I was like, hey!
Yeah,
so
right.
That's fun.
Very cool.
Can't wait to do that again.
I know we're talking about Voyd Fest. We're talking about a live show that maybe bringing some of the bands that you've seen on the Seedpod and incorporating that. I know you've got a food truck that you're starting up. We're going to have that featured in there as well.
Mm-hmm. That Voyd Fest is probably something that is going it's like by musicians for musicians.
Absolutely.
It's not like a promoter that's like trying to just make a few bucks. Everybody involved in Voyd has a musical background and is invested into the scene itself.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's kind of like the group's way of trying to highlight each other and pat each other on the back and really try to do anything they can to promote.
Absolutely.
The scene.
You've got art, bring it to us. We'll give you a shot.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I think 2025 is going to be a great year, so we're coming at you. Check it out. The Sonic Seedpod, or
legally obligated to the consequences of my actions. Because we're a team.
We will forever remember your contributions to the Sonic
Seedpod. You might not be
Seedpod.
totally dead. You know how they sometimes play fake? They'll kind of act like they're dead. It could be.
No, you killed it, man. You killed it.
No, wait, he twitched. He twitched.
That's the main Also go
Kind of kill, dude. All right, we got Christopher, who is our kind of overseer of the cameras. What animal would be the rudest if they...
Dolphins.
Okay.
Objectively speaking, they are the rudest without talking, bullying whales, sharks, and pufferfish to get high off their poison. So...
But can you blame them though? I mean...
If you had a theme song, what do you think it'd be?
So back in the day, Silverchair had an instrumental song called Madman, and my last name, Madsen, Madman, that would always be my intro theme. If I walked into a house, that song should play.
How'd it go?
Digga, 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 digga.
The chin shadow is much better with that fill in there.
Pufferfish, they don't deserve that.
Okay, I'm gonna get a piece of duct tape because that's how you fix shit around. Well, he had a good life.
Did he? 1 second.
Good man.
Your nose touched.
DJ Broh, what is your most useless talent?
I mean, I don't know if it's a talent, but I mean, like, you know, how it's straight, now I can go back a little further, it pops out. Okay. Then even with my leg too, you know what I'm saying, straight, all of a sudden, bloop.
Steve,
yeah.
You want to know what my favorite curse word is?
What is your favorite curse word?
Do you remember when we were living in Milwaukee, 50th and North, and you got arrested, and you came back out?
Yeah.
And somebody in there had called you a name, and then we wrote a song about it. We recorded it. You remember that?
Yeah. Fuck stick.
Fuck stick.
Fuck stick. It's not natural.
I don't know if it's a talent. I don't know what I can do with
sure.
it. You know, besides,
there's
you know,
no
just,
use for it.
You know, just sit here and do some weird stuff, I guess.
You're gonna die.
You watched me struggle. I fought. I tore my hair out. You're brilliant.
Leave it on.
Don't shut it off.
Here we are with crew member Joe, if you remember him from episode 1, Citrine, but he has been around as our slate guy since we started off. I have a present for you. We don't want to hurt your delicate hands.
They're so delicate, Steve.
So we have constructed your very own slate.
That's so well crafted.
There you go.
It's so expertly made.
Well, I wouldn't say expert.
It's like it's got like a cool intentional wobble to it.
Yeah,
awesome.
Intentional, totally intentional. Yeah, and like
This guy's an artist.
and the contours in the wood are sonic contours, so that the vibrations reverberate in such a way that you get the maximum effect. And it's really for Chuck, so that he can edit it proper. We need to give him.
It feels like the hard spot on a fruit.
Right. Well, it's the friction. That's the friction point. That's a good spot for your thumb to hold it, so it won't slip.
Oh, you want me to have my hand on the gross part?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. That's the whole idea.
Or DIY.
Why don't you give it a clap? Slate. Oh, just gotta work this out. Oh. Quiet on set.